Hello, everyone. My name is Axel Valdez, and today I'm going to be speaking about the Roaring Twenties and men's tailored suits. When we think of the Roaring Twenties, we often imagine jazz music, speakeasies, flapper dresses, and the glitter of an age that seemed to dance on its own rhythm. But today we're going to talk about something that stood tall during that time period: the men's tailored suits. It was more than just clothing, it was a statement of identity, wealth, and modern style. Let's step back in time for a moment. Before World War I, men's suits were heavy, stiff, and conservative. Think of thick fabrics, long frock coats, and high collars. But after the war, everything changed. The 1920s brought a spirit of rebellion, energy, and optimism. Men wanted to look modern, sleek, and confident, and their suits reflected that. One of the most defining features of the 1920s suits was a three-piece suit, as you see in the images here in the PowerPoint slide. These were just some of the suits that men wore at that time period. Trousers, a vest, and a jacket, often worn with a crisp dress shirt and a tie or bow tie. The jackets were cut shorter than before. The fit became slimmer, and wide lapels came into fashion. This gave men a more athletic, streamlined silhouette as well. Pants changed too. They became looser with a high waist and often a cuff at the bottom of it. This style was called Oxford bags. Another fascinating fact: fabrics were lighter and patterns bolder than before. Men wore pinstripes, plaids, and checks, reflecting the new confidence of that era. Bright colors like blues, browns, and even pastels appeared, a dramatic shift from the dark and somber tones of earlier decades. Accessories also played a huge role. Think of pocket watches, suspenders, polished shoes, and of course, the iconic fedora or bowler hat to finish the look. Tailoring itself evolved during this period. Weren't just about formality. They became a way for men to express individuality. Wealthier men would go to bespoke tailors for custom fits, while ready-to-wear suits became more widely available for the growing middle class. This democratization, sorry, I can't say the word, of fashion allowed more men to embrace the sleek, modern look of the day. It's also important to remember the cultural context. The 1920s was a decade of economic boom in America and much of Europe. The stock market was soaring, jazz clubs were buzzing, and Hollywood was shaping global style. Movie stars like Rudolph Valentino and Douglas Fairbanks became style icons, and men across the country wanted to emulate their sharp, dashing appearance. Even more, the suit symbolized social change. Men wore longer, confident, to rigid Victorian rules of dress. Instead, the 1920s suit showed flexibility. It could be worn to the office, to the club, or even night out at a speakeasy. It balanced professionalism with flair. One small but telling detail: ties in the 1920s became more colorful, more patterned, and with Art Deco influences. These weren't just neckties, they were tiny canvases of self-expression. Add that to a tie, pins, cufflinks, and even occasional pocket squares, and you see how much attention men paid to small details of elegance. In short, the men's tailored suit of the Roaring Twenties wasn't just clothing, it was confidence stitched into a fabric. It represented a break from the old world, a celebration of prosperity, and a symbol of modern manhood. It told the world, I am here, I am stylish, and I belong in this fast-paced, exciting new century. So the next time you see a 1920s film or a photo, notice the suit. Notice how it stands tall, neat, and timeless. Because even though a century has passed, the spirit of the Roaring Twenties suit, sharp, bold, and full of life still influences men today's fashion. Thank you.